Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Why Other Countries Laugh at American Homes. Taking a wild guess, and I'm going to say it's because they're made of cardboard. I think from an outsider's perspective, I think American houses are very flimsy or flimsier than other countries where you think usually people build with real materials as in concrete and probably wood as well. But I think American houses tend to be very, they just fall apart very easily. So at least that's my perception. So I think that's why people are gonna laugh. It's you literally live in a toy house, so in a doll house. So maybe that's why. This is my guess. I don't know, but let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Countries are laughing at us. It seems like every time I mention American homes online, a wave of criticism follows. People from all around the world comment saying how American homes are cheap, flimsy, and downright stupid.
I'm not cheap as in expensive, or houses are not cheap, but cheaper materials maybe.
Comments typically go on to say how this country or that country builds way better. But what countries are laughing at us?
Are made out of matchsticks, sure.
And why? It's mostly Europe, but there are others. Many believe that compared to America, their homes are better quality, sturdier, and built to last.
Yes.
Is there any truth to these claims, or is
Yes.
everyone else just jealous of how great we are?
No.
How do other countries build? Are their methods truly better?
Honestly, I think the biggest you can see that you can obviously see this when there's tornadoes or hurricanes or natural disasters. American houses just fall apart, which other countries do not, unless there's just a huge earthquake or something like that.
And if they are, why don't we implement them here? I spent the past several weeks studying every different construction method from around the world to find the answer.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
All around the world, homes are built using materials that are local, cost-effective, suitable for the climate, and embrace tradition.
Okay.
Earth homes are popular all around the world.
Oh,
This
Earth.
method dates back to ancient civilization and is still in use today in countries like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, India, Peru, and many more. Typically, a mixture.
I had no idea. Is it actual earth, as in soil? That's so oh my god. I'm guessing it keeps you very I don't know. It doesn't get hot. Maybe I don't know. So that's so weird.
Clay, straw, sand, and binding agents such as animal dung, which sounds gross, but it adds workability and
Doesn't it smell?
cohesion to the mixture. And supposedly the
Okay, obviously it doesn't smell. Other people people are not building houses that smell.
organisms protect the structure from mold and fungal growth that would otherwise occur.
Because it's organic, of course, mold is gonna grow. You have mold even in concrete houses, so yes, of course.
Now, earth homes are built using a few different techniques. There's cob, which is molded by hand and allowed
That house reminded me of a hobbit house.
to air dry. There's adobe, which is made into sun-dried bricks and assembled
Ooh.
with or without mortar. And there's rammed earth, which is compacted between
Don't bricks are usually made to dry in the sun? Oh no, they use ovens.
formwork, and then the forms are later removed. Sometimes a coat of lime plaster is applied to the exterior of the completed home. While
Those
researching for this
That house looked like a mushroom.
video, I discovered that portions of the Great Wall in China are actually built using rammed earth. I'd
Oh.
always thought the whole thing was built with stone.
Yeah.
Turns out I was wrong. It was built using materials that were available locally for each section of the wall, which of course
That's
varied
insane.
with the wall spanning such a great distance across multiple regions. But I'm getting off topic. I haven't seen anyone bragging about their earth homes. So what other methods are there?
Well,
Next up is timber framing,
I would definitely brag about owning an earth home. That seems cool.
which also dates back to ancient civilization. Timber framing is popular in countries where lumber is a local resource. Early timber frame buildings used
I would assume that's more common in places where it's colder because I think it keeps the warmth a little bit better. I think that's my experience.
heavy timbers connected with joinery to form the skeleton of the building, and then the walls were completed with an infill material such as wattle and daub, brick, or stone. For those wondering,
Like a
wattle
cottage.
and daub is a clay mixture like what's used in earth homes, and this clay mixture is applied to a lattice of sticks or plant material, and it adds insulation value and completes the building envelope.
Yeah.
Like with earth homes, the infill portions were often covered in plaster. In applications where the timbers remain exposed on the exterior, this is referred to as half timber. This style was popular in Northern Europe throughout the medieval period, and some of these buildings are just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
With the infills and the timbers being carefully decorated. Take a moment with me to appreciate
This to me is like a very German like house, but
some of
just
these
me.
beautiful half timber homes.
I love the music. It's very medieval. It looks like a little toy house. Like I don't know, I kind of want to like have it, and like during Christmas, I want to like construct this house, like make a gingerbread house, but like a half timber house, but it's gingerbread. Oh my god, that one's in a lake. Okay, that one looked like a castle. Oh my god, this one's like this. Okay, these are like pretty stunning houses. They look like hotels. I'm wondering if they're shop. Well, I mean, like, who lives in like such a huge house? Like, it just looks like a hotel. This was definitely like some sort of like office building or something. Not office, literally a hotel, a
The
residence.
medieval period was probably not the greatest time to be alive, but at least you would have been surrounded by beautiful architecture.
Great.
Homes built by early American settlers
It's like I'm gonna die of the plague, but at least I live in a beautiful house.
also used timber framing with wattle and daub infill. However, most opted to cover the exterior with wooden siding called clapboards rather than leave the timber and infill exposed.
True.
Modern timber framing
It's kind of curious because I think the in the U.S. I don't think we have like older like houses that are that old. Like there's like few of them, especially like in the eastern. Yeah, in the eastern, I think there's like several, but it's not that common.
often uses cross-laminated timber and glue-laminated timber, which are both engineered wood products. The infill has been replaced by insulation, drywall, and conventional siding. Sometimes additional insulation is added on the exterior in the form of SIPs or wood fiber insulation. Timber framing is used around the world in countries like Germany, Austria, Sweden, Japan, New Zealand, and more. The US and Canada also have a rich history of building timber frame homes. However, this
different.
changed over time to prioritize light wood framing. Historically, most homes in the US were timber frame or log cabins. Homes were built primarily with joinery, since nails needed to be handcrafted by a blacksmith and were quite expensive. Eventually, nails began to be
Of course, like it's not I'm gonna go to the hardware store and like buy a nail. No, of course I had to like the guy that made this to like grab the metal and like do it by hand.
mass-produced. And at the same time, sawmills and dimensional lumber became commonplace. This gave rise to what we now know as balloon framing. This new method was faster,
It's derogatory. Why? Oh, because it's like it's worse.
cheaper, easier,
Cheaper.
and made better use of available lumber. While log cabins used large, heavy timbers, balloon framing used small, individual studs that ran from the foundation to the roof.
I can
These
see
studs
why.
were quickly joined together with nails and didn't require the same level of skill as timber framing.
I can see, yes.
However,
definitely.
this method had a critical weakness.
What?
After several devastating fires, like the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, it became clear that balloon framing was a fire hazard. The long studs
I had no idea. Like all the houses in Chicago, like were like this when it burned the whole town. But I didn't know that.
created continuous cavities that allowed fire to spread quickly.
Oh,
But fire hazards weren't the only problem with this method. As long
It seems like something so simple, but it's like I hadn't thought of this. But it's like yes, unless it happens to you and there's a fire, and you're like, of course that's gonna happen. It's the logical outcome of this.
lumber availability decreased and these long studs became harder to produce, we switched over to what's called platform framing. Like balloon framing, platform framing consists of individual studs. The biggest difference is that the studs break at each floor system or platform,
Oh,
which reduces the fire hazard and allows for shorter pieces of lumber to be used.
they look like so similar.
150 years later, and this is still the primary building method in North America. Other countries that use light wood framing include Sweden, Norway, Finland, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand.
I love for like northern
But these are not the
countries,
construction
Canadian.
methods of the countries that criticize us. Let's get into some of the more interesting material choices.
Okay.
Stone is another option for building homes,
Oh, that's like in Ireland, right? Scotland?
also dating back to ancient times. Stone homes are durable and use local materials. The Trulli homes in Italy, Trulli, I'm probably saying that wrong. The Trulli homes in Italy are a great example of dry stone construction.
Actually, like in Spain, they have houses that are like they're underground and they are like built in like in a mountain. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like made out of stone. I'm wondering if that like is in this category as well.
And these homes use a double-walled facade consisting of an interior and an exterior layer of stone, which creates a very dry environment inside. These homes are preserved as a
Okay.
piece of Italian history and serve as commercial shops, tourist accommodations, and
it's
private
touristy.
housing. Another great example of dry stone homes are the Clocan stone huts in Ireland. It's another one I'm probably saying wrong. If these look familiar, that's because a famous Jedi spent some time hiding out there.
Okay, in Ireland, we're near like in space.
While these methods of dry stone construction are interesting, they compose the minority of stone homes. Most structures built with stone use a stone and mortar technique, which
Something that's particular about this is that they're all like circular, which I'm curious. We're intrigued.
creates a tighter enclosure but is weaker to settling. Today, stone is a less common material for structural use due
Why?
to the availability of modern construction materials like concrete, brick, and CMU. But in rural areas
I would love to have a stone house. Like they look like very old timey and old fashioned.
or out of respect for tradition,
Oh,
stone cottages in the
Okay.
UK countryside or traditional stone homes in Greece are still very popular. Countries that still build with stone include Italy, Greece, France, Spain, Scotland, Ireland, Portugal, Turkey, India, and various
like so many
nations
of
in
them.
Africa. But stone isn't the only way to build
I was gonna say well, it's like the Mediterranean and like Ireland,
that's rock solid.
and of course like the it's like India and I think Pakistan as well, and some places in Africa.
Okay,
So
bad
all
joke.
over the world.
Moving on. Much of the ancient world was built with brick, stone, and concrete. However, with the fall of
It's
the Roman
true.
Empire, there was a decline in brick and concrete construction.
Why?
The
They didn't have
knowledge
money?
of brick making and Roman concrete were lost, and the
I didn't know that concrete, like Romans use concrete. That's news to me. I don't know why I thought that concrete was like something newer.
techniques abandoned. So throughout the medieval period, timber framing was the most common form of construction. However, after many devastating fires like the Great Fire of London
It's always fires.
in 1666, fired clay bricks began to make a resurgence. Brick construction thrived during the Renaissance period, and even more so after the Industrial Revolution.
Of course.
Today, brick construction is extremely popular in Europe. And when I say brick construction, I mean that the brick is a structural material. In America, when we have brick houses, they don't add much to the house structurally. It's purely cosmetic. The ties that attach the brick
okay.
to the house are just to keep the brick from tilting away from the framing. The brick does not provide any structural strength to the house. What I'm referring to in other countries is either multi-width, large bricks,
Exactly.
or double walls of bricks that make up the exterior walls where brick is used in a structural application.
In those situations, do you pour a concrete on top of this? That's not a thing, right? I have no idea.
While these are referred to as clay blocks and closely resemble CMU, this is still technically a brick because it's a fired clay product. The perforations in the block
Good question. Like, what constitutes a brick? Didn't know that.
increase its insulating properties, and the blocks are often filled with insulation and
Oh,
or
it's insulation.
built in a
Yeah, because I saw like the little holes, and this way I was like, is it concrete?
double wall application where insulation is placed in between, like you can see right here. These blocks are then finished with a coat of plaster or stucco on both sides, the interior and the exterior. Masonry buildings are either all masonry, which is cheaper, or they used a reinforced concrete frame with a masonry infill. This is known as confined masonry. According to the Federal Statistical Office in Germany, at least 85% of homes and multifamily buildings are solid structure construction, which is defined as either concrete or masonry. A friend of mine who
The remaining percent, what exactly are they made of?
lives there says that almost all the homes he sees are built with brick, while all the newer homes are precast concrete. Other countries that prioritize brick
Oh.
construction are France, Italy,
Interesting.
India, China, the UK, Belgium, Australia, Uganda,
There's like so many countries each
Tanzania.
time.
Brazil, Poland, Hungary, Argentina.
Okay, like a lot of them.
Like I mentioned earlier, concrete construction was quite popular in the ancient world. Many of the Roman concrete works, like the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and the aqueducts, have survived for centuries. In
Exactly, because they're made out of durable materials, and that's what we still have them these days.
fact, some of the aqueducts are still in use today, almost 2,000 years later.
Yeah, they made repairs, right? Like, that's crazy.
Despite the technology having ancient roots, concrete construction disappeared from history for a while. It seems the knowledge of concrete construction died along with the Roman Empire.
How could we lose like such valuable information for so long?
But then in 1824, Joseph Aspdin invented Portland cement, the binder in modern concrete. After some trial and error, it was discovered that
Good question. What actually is concrete? I think it's stone pulverized.
concrete, when reinforced with internal steel, could be used in a variety of applications such as elevated slabs, columns, cantilevers, and more.
Everything.
Concrete has great compressive strength, but it lacks tensile strength. Steel is just the opposite, with great tensile strength. And when combining concrete with internal
I failed
steel,
physics
it
class.
was now
No
strong
idea
in
what
both
this means.
directions and able to be used in new ways.
Okay.
The genius of Roman engineering was that they were able to accomplish great feats without any internal reinforcement. Instead, the Romans relied
How?
upon arches, which kept the concrete in compression, and the supermassive size of concrete structures to help support the weight. Other impressive features of Roman concrete are
Thinking of this, it's impressive, which I think it's obviously so stupid of me to say, like, wow, the Colosseum, what an impressive piece of architecture. But wow, seeing it like this, it's like you really get the sense of like, wow.
its self-healing properties, the use of
Self-healing?
underwater concrete, and its overall resistance to the moist, salty climate. In fact, Roman
Oh.
concrete is being studied today and may make a widespread comeback. But I'm getting off topic again.
Yes, please.
Between the late 1800s and the early 1900s, architects like Le Corbusier, again, probably saying it wrong, and
It's a Corbusier,
Auguste
yeah.
Perret designed many homes and public buildings with concrete across Europe. And
Yeah.
since then, concrete has grown to become an essential material in nations around the world. But we're supposed to be talking about homes. So who's building concrete houses?
Okay, that house, like it was in France, looked gorgeous.
One of the biggest contenders is Switzerland.
Hmm.
With a focus on building to last and a rich supply of limestone, Switzerland is a land of concrete. Every year, over half a ton of concrete is used per Swiss resident. While being a small alpine nation, Switzerland
Seeing it like this is crazy because it looks like everyone's like pouring concrete in their houses.
is
year.
regularly one of the largest consumers of concrete in the world, consistently among the top 5. Right next door, Germany is also a big proponent of concrete housing, with many newer homes being built using precast concrete panels.
But I thought that precast concrete has been around for at least like the 80s. It's been here for like a very long time. I don't know if it's like a Cold War thing. Is it like a Soviet Union thing? No idea.
Most new buildings in Italy and France are either all concrete or they consist of a concrete frame and a masonry infill. And in
Okay.
Puerto
Super
Rico,
reinforced.
concrete homes are viewed as the standard method of construction, being equated with safety and quality work. Other countries that build
Good thing, because Puerto Rico like gets a lot of hurricanes, so I can see why they value like we need to be sturdy.
a substantial number of concrete homes include the Netherlands, Romania, the UK, Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt, and more. But there's another way concrete is used to build homes. While not dating back to the ancient world, CMU is so popular that it deserves its own category for this video. Concrete masonry units, sometimes called cinder blocks, are used to build homes around the world. In the early 1900s, cinder blocks began to be mass-produced and offered an easy, cost-effective way to build high-quality homes.
the
CMU
dream.
construction is especially popular for homes in Mexico. The most common application is a reinforced concrete frame with a CMU infill. The reinforced
Oh.
frame is stronger than CMU alone and can resist earthquakes. However, in
Good, because actually Mexico I think gets a lot of earthquakes as well.
lower income areas, the homes tend to be all CMU to keep overall costs down. Like brick houses, the CMU homes get a finished coat of plaster or stucco. The United States does build some CMU homes in areas like Florida.
Okay, I was gonna say like stucco. Is it like I think it's like a cold, like I think it's in warmer climates. I wouldn't say like you would use stucco in a colder climate, but I don't know anything about this.
Texas, New Mexico, and
It's hot.
Arizona. And these homes are better at resisting inclement weather and
Yeah.
help to keep the house cool in the hot, harsh climates. Other countries that build with CMU include Puerto Rico, Haiti, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Australia. and
Hotter
more.
places.
But there's one material we haven't considered.
Steel.
And that's steel. While it's
For the
not
whole
super
house?
common for homes, I wanted to be thorough and ensure that I mentioned it. Steel framing is typically used for commercial or multifamily buildings more so than it is for homes, but you will occasionally see steel frame homes. My friend Larry built one in Indiana that's double wall, built to passive house standard, packed with insulation. It's a very cool house.
Sure.
Maybe one day we'll get to take a
Oh, I
tour
thought
of
it,
it. But
I thought we were gonna get a picture.
yeah, it's not very common. Typically, it's used in commercial buildings, but in some countries, you will see it on
Yeah.
higher end projects, like a big custom home in Australia, the US,
I
or
want to see a
the
picture.
UAE. Now, you might be wondering, this seems like it's all about walls. What about roofing materials? And that's a great question. And because this video is
I'm trying to think like I don't know, straw. No, I think it's wood, right, or bricks as well.
probably too long already, I'll oversimplify it. Most roofs use a wood or timber for the framing
Okay.
and receive a covering with locally available materials. Thatch was a common roofing material
Yeah.
for much of history, and it's still used today. And thatch is composed of straw or woven plant material,
Do you need to replace this at some point in the history of your house?
and they're multi-layered with each layer overlapping the next in order to shed water.
I would assume you need to replace the thatch in your house, but I don't know.
The material also had the capacity to absorb water and then dry out naturally, making for a surprisingly dry home.
Good.
More modern roofing methods include clay tiles, wooden shakes, slate, composite materials like this Da Vinci product you see right here, where it looks like a wood shake, but it lasts 50 years, never loses its color. And there's also
Oh my-
asphalt shingles and various
Shingles.
types of
Yeah, shingles. I think, or like bricks. I don't know.
metal roofing.
Those are more common.
Now, it's clear that homes around the world are all built differently. But do other countries have better methods than the US? We're going to group concrete, CMU, and masonry into one category and call it solid structure. The
Yeah.
biggest criticism of American homes is that America primarily builds with light wood framing, while the rest of the world prefers solid structure. And there's some real problems with light wood framing, such as fire hazards, a lack of disaster resistance. It's vulnerable to termites, carpenter ants, and other pests.
Oh,
Wood is
yeah.
also prone to mold, decay.
Can you get termites? I think termites are just in wood, right? I believe.
and warping.
But I think like the mold, I think comes also in I don't know if cement actually, but I know that mold like you can get mold everywhere. I think.
Especially in high humidity areas. And the quality of lumber has gone down over time. Lumber now
Why?
comes entirely from new growth, plantation grown trees, which have a lower density and a lower resin content, making
Is that a real picture? Like the trees were massive back in those days, whatever age this was, what year was this?
them more vulnerable to moisture and pests. Another downside to light wood framing is that it has limited strength
Actually, it makes me very sad that we've cut down the trees to the point where there's like they're defective now.
and it's a poor choice for high-rise and multifamily buildings without a large amount of additional reinforcement.
Yeah.
The
It would be insane to build a house, like a building out of wood. That's crazy.
benefits of light wood framing are that it's fast and cheap, it's relatively easy to build, and it's well understood by contractors. It's also a renewable resource where
In the US, because if other countries are building in other materials, then it's familiar for the contractors over there, right?
we can always plant more trees, and it's easy to remodel.
I don't know like how renewable it is because you're cutting them faster than you're actually like using them. I don't know how renewable they are.
There's also design flexibility, allowing for dormers, cantilevers, and non-aligning walls. While solid structure homes are praised, they're not without problems.
Okay, what are
The
the
cons of solid structure include dampness, increased construction time,
Okay, they also get mold, so everyone gets mold.
added cost,
It's
added
expensive.
complexity, design limitations without additional engineering, such
Oh.
as cantilevers or non-aligning walls. And there's also environmental concerns, particularly regarding
Okay, how cement is made. I'm so curious about this. Like, okay, it's bad for the environment. Okay.
CO2 and energy usage, but I'm going to talk about that more in another video. The benefits of solid structure buildings are that they're built to last, they're fireproof, they're resistant to natural and man-made
Agreed.
disasters, they're energy efficient, they're very strong, they can be used for high-rise or multifamily buildings, and they reduce sound from the outside world. But does this actually make
It's
homes
true.
in other countries better? So the answer is yes and no. Again, most places build based on local material
I guess it's true. Depends on what you need.
availability, climate, cost effectiveness, and tradition. And that's going to vary from place to place.
Yeah.
Each country also has a unique philosophy behind how they build homes. In Europe, for example, buildings are built to last for centuries. People don't move around as much, and houses stay in the family for generations. There's also a focus on sustainability with strict building codes and high standards.
I think that's how it should be. Me personally, I believe that.
Conversely, other countries like Japan view homes as disposable, where rebuilding is common after seismic events.
It's so out of my mindset, my mind, my brain to think of a house as disposable because to me it's like houses are made to last. Like it's crazy to me that you're thinking of this as something like you can just like throw away or whatever. I'll just demolish this after living this in this house for like 2 years. That's insane. It's a foreign concept.
America is somewhere in between, trending towards disposable. While
Yeah.
high performance homes do exist in America, they are the underwhelming minority of new builds.
Yeah.
Most homes are built to the minimum standards that code requires to keep things fast and cheap. Even our
That's like America for you.
multi-million dollar homes use the same light wood framing techniques instead of
What?
solid structure. So, in a way, there's some truth to the criticism of American homes. It would actually make a lot of sense if we started building more solid structure homes.
Yeah.
Concrete, for example, would be an
Wouldn't that be? I get that it's more expensive, but I think long term, if you're not replacing it like every couple of years, every few years, isn't it like at the end of the day more like it's cheaper to just it's more you invest more earlier on, but then the returns are better. But I don't know.
excellent building material for homes in the US. And here's why. Historically, lumber was cheap, high quality, and readily available. But now it is none of those things, which raises the question, why don't we build with brick or concrete? While brick is not super common for structural use in the US, concrete is.
I'm wondering if like they actually use lumber or it's just like something that they made in a factory and it's like lumber, but it's not really. It's just like plastic mimicking or some other material that's mimicking like lumber.
We already use it for flat work, foundations, and commercial applications. It's readily available. Why don't we use it for our homes?
Yeah.
Many parts of the country experience hurricanes and tornadoes,
Yes.
and there's all kinds of man-made disasters which destroy homes built with light
Hopefully, like, a vehicle is not impacting your house, like, constantly, but, you know.
wood framing. Concrete homes would be able to survive these disasters. Concrete homes also last longer, reduce sound from the outside world, and use less energy to heat and cool.
Yeah.
This may come as a surprise, but concrete homes are not a new concept for Americans. While America is known for wood houses, we've been experimenting with concrete homes for a long time. Thomas Edison had a patented system for building concrete houses over 100 years ago. The forming
How come, like, that's not happening?
system was patented by Thomas Edison, but he leased it out for free to builders to test the idea. The forms were nickel-plated for a
Nickel?
smooth finish and were interchangeable to ensure variety between each building.
It's nickel. I know that a lot of people are allergic to nickel, but isn't when you're wearing, like, your jewelry, nickel, like, jewelry? Or is it also, like, when it's, like, in your own house?
In fact, all parts of the buildings were to be built with concrete. The steps, the floors, the walls,
I
even
love this.
sinks and bathtubs were to be concrete.
Oh my god, it would look so modern. This was in the 1800s, and it would look like so incredibly modern.
A handful of concept homes were built using Edison's forming system across the U.S. These homes in Gary, Indiana were designed by D.F. Creighton
Oh,
and
was the
built in
1910s?
1910 by the United States Sheet and Tin Plate Company, and they used Edison's forming system.
It's so funny that it's like just suburbs, like still, it's the same house, but it's just like, it's the suburbs, but instead of cardboard, it's concrete.
His mission was to build more affordable housing for workers in industrial areas.
Insane, that was a concern even back in those days.
However, the system failed. Though
Why?
the finished houses were affordable, even more so than light wood framing, the forming system was just too expensive for most builders
Oh my
to
god, it
purchase.
was, oh,
And it was likely also a bit overcomplicated. Other
very
historical
heavy.
examples of concrete housing in America include concrete block homes built by the builder Levitt and Sons, who was doing a lot of production housing after World War II. And Frank Lloyd Wright built several
Oh.
homes out of concrete. And he had plans for the mass production
it doesn't count. Like, he was a very famous architect. Like, you're not mass producing
of
this.
houses like this too. In the early 1950s, he came up with the idea for the Usonian automatic house, a house made of inexpensive modular concrete blocks. Wright hoped that home buyers could save money
I do not like this. I think it looks very weird. Is this finished or it isn't? Because what am I gonna do? Like, what happens if it rains or bugs getting in? I don't
by
know.
building their own houses. But assembling the modular parts proved complicated, and most hired contractors to build their
Okay, so you literally had to build it yourself. It's like a Lego.
Usonian homes. While these concrete-based
Good idea, I
systems
think,
did not
maybe.
transform the housing industry, some modern concrete methods are becoming increasingly common in residential construction. According to Mike Weber, the director of residential programs for the Portland Cement Association, around 15% of the homes built in the United States are considered concrete homes.
That's very little.
They either have concrete exterior walls or all concrete, and that number is growing each year. Let's look at some examples. There's CMU homes, which are popular in places like Florida, Arizona, and Texas. There's precast systems, often containing built-in insulation, and these precast homes are panelized so they can be built very quickly.
I think these are the best.
There's also cast-in-place concrete homes. They're built using variations of standard concrete forming technology. So instead of a Siemens panel, you use something like a Thermomass CIP, cast-in-place system. Again, the insulation is integral to the assembly. And then there's my personal favorite, ICF, or insulated concrete forms, are foam blocks that are easy to assemble like Legos. They snap together to form the shell of your building,
Oh.
and then the walls are then braced and filled with concrete.
Oh, they do
After
fill it with
concrete is
concrete.
placed, the forms stay in place and serve as insulation material. Unlike other methods, ICF protects the concrete from moisture and therefore corrosion, ensuring it lasts as close to forever as we
all
can
the
get.
sense in the world.
Because these blocks have built-in studs, they're finished with drywall and siding, just like a wood house. So you get all the benefits of concrete without the appearance of a bomb shelter.
Oh,
ICF has a high
bomb shelter.
insulation value and performs somewhere around an R50, while according to the U.S. Department of Energy, 2x6 wall with fiberglass bats is going to perform around an R13. ICF is also comparable in cost to other energy efficient options. It's not that much more to build a house that's significantly better. In my opinion, it's going to be the best value per dollar spent when it comes to building a new house.
Yeah.
While other countries have been laughing at American homes, we're catching up fast. What do you think? Should America build more concrete houses?
Yes.
Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm like, yes, of course, because obviously I'm not in charge of this. So I'm like, yes, of course. I think like he made a great point. I think, ultimately, I know he mentioned like, yes, the pros and the cons, but I think ultimately, I think just the concrete homes are just better. Like generally, I think you can come to that conclusion because it's like, even then he's like, yes, that's the future. I think in America, like they have to, move towards like this, and they even said it themselves, even if it's just like 50%, like in these, I don't know if this was this year or last year, but it's going up. Like each year it's probably going to be like more houses are being built with concrete because people are noticing and are realizing like, if I can build something that lasts, like why wouldn't I? Well, like this is to me like, again, such a weird concept. If you're like spending that much like resources, money, time, just like you're it's a big thing, like you're building a house. Like a house should last, maybe not forever because I'm being like really ambitious with this, but they should last for at least, I don't know, like 50 years. Like to me that's just how it should be. I'm not saying that it is, but again, houses are meant like, if something should be made to last, it's a house. Not even people, because people like, no, people are gonna, it's the natural, like circle of life. People are gonna pass on at some point. But I think houses should remain. I think to me, in my like ideal world, I think, yes, of course, like a house should maybe, last for, again, maybe like 100 years. That should be normal. As in like humans, not really, you're expecting like humans to last like a little bit longer, a little less than 100 years. But I think with houses, it should be the norm because again, you're like spending so much like time and you're just like build this incredible thing. Like it should be made to last. You're not making them like, oh, so I can destroy it in like 5 years. It's crazy. And the concept of being so, I don't know, like just, or like replaceable and, easy to demolish. Like it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with my spirit, with my brain, with anything. It's like those houses and houses in general should definitely last for as long as you can. And why wouldn't you? Like if you're like taking like, it's such a huge amount of resources because you're not just like building, well, yes, of course, if you're just one person and you're like building your own house, you want it to last like a long time. So your forever home and you're probably thinking like long term, I want this to be like my house. I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. And then probably like my kids are going to live here, or even my grandchildren are gonna live here. So you're maybe thinking like super long term, and I think that's normal. That's how it should be. You're not thinking, well, maybe I can destroy this in 5 years. It's like, no, I'm not even like finished paying this. Like, it's a huge amount of like, again, in money and just like mental like thing about like designing this. And there's like so many people that work in this thing, and it's making me so sad to think of like the concept of people. And I know that probably like, people like workers that do the houses and like constructors and stuff are not thinking of this because they're building like, I don't know, how many houses have you built in your career? It's like, I don't know, 300. Like, I can't remember them all. It's, it's normal for them, but it's like, oh my God, isn't that sad that you're putting like that much effort into something and then you just see it like get thrown away and so like easily like discharged. It's like, oh my God, I don't know, I don't like that. It's like, I hate that. So I'm like, yes, of course you should build with concrete. Even then, like he mentioned the cons, but I think it's one of those cases where like the pros like overcompensates like the cons. So I think ultimately I do believe that concrete is just better. Because again, just for me, the most important thing is durability. If it's gonna last you a long time and it's gonna be the most like the hardest material, and just the way that it's gonna be, like it's gonna be sturdy, it's gonna withstand the test of time, it's gonna withstand fires, natural disasters, and accidents like like cars like ramming into your house, then yes, that to me is enough. Like I'm like, say no more, just use concrete, please. I don't care about the rest. Is it like, oh well, the other has other pros? Yes, sure, but that to me, I think like you sold me on that one. Just those things to me are like more important than the rest. It's just like it's tantamount for me. Like no, of course, like those are like, I don't know. It's crazy, and I do not believe. I know it's just like, oh, it's more expensive, but I think if it's an investment that you made early on, and probably like it's like maybe like the constructors are like, oh, we're gonna have to invest a lot of money into this, and probably that's why they don't really see like the benefits. And but again, it's like maybe it's the constructors, like it's their fault. They obviously they end up winning maybe at the end of the day, because if people are like rebuilding their houses and they're demolishing houses and building new ones, they're earning money that way. So maybe they're not that interested in the thing like lasting a long time. But I'm thinking about it from like a house owner, or you're building your own house. And it's like, it's the opposite, because of course I'm not getting into this huge task, and then I'm like 10 years later be like, no, I'm doing it again. I think there's like few people that will actually want to, because it's a whole psychological like thing and pressure of like, I have to build a house. So it is, I'm in charge, and it's, it's my project, and this is where I'm going to live. And again, it's like, you're not designing it, but you have to like look for the architect, the civil engineer. There's so many decisions that you have to take because it's your house. So it is a little bit like, oh my god, the mental pressure that I have, it's only like a once in a lifetime situation, and I'm not expecting to do this like every few years or every few decades. It's like, no, absolutely not. So it is kind of like crazy to me. And again, it's like the rest of the world like has done it and the US has not. But I think ultimately it's probably going to be like a thing of like, oh, it costs a lot of money, and that's why people like do not. But I don't think it's necessarily like best. I do think that again, it's like, no, it's better. And if they don't do it that way, and people are not building with concrete and more durable materials, it's a thing about, it's the money thing. I guarantee it's the money, and it's not an inherently, oh, America, like greatest country in the world. No, absolutely not. It's more about like, we know that the other houses are better. It's not available to us. It's not widespread again, because again, it's like, yes, there's more people that have been like hopping on that train. But I think it's also about like resources, and not everyone probably they want to. Like, yes, if it were for me, if it were up to me, I would definitely build my house in like concrete. But it's more expensive, and it's the cheaper like option to me, and what's available. It's to build like with lighter materials and wood and timber. So I got to like I have to do it. That is, it's not a thing about choice. It's just like a thing about it's weighing the pros and cons, and ultimately like you're just gonna choose like what you can, because maybe you can't physically afford this. So it's like, no, I have to. But I think also like it was very interesting to see like the other houses that other people like have in the rest of the world, because it's like, oh yeah, the half timber houses and the concrete houses, which I think are probably the more common ones. But I love the stone ones and the brick ones as well. Like, oh my god, they look so cool. I want to have like a brick house. They look so interesting. It's so particular to me. Like also the whole like they're made out of bricks, and they're usually like circular, which I'm like, wow, that's crazy to live in a circular house that's actually made out of like bricks and stone. Like, it's gotta be a trip. But I'm wondering if you can do that in the middle. Obviously, again, you're not building this house in the middle of like the Arizona desert. Like, no, that's not a thing. So you can't just like build this house, whatever. It's like you have to live in the right climate to actually build those houses. So it's like you wouldn't construct one of these things in in places where there's like a lot of snow. Although maybe you can. No, yeah, I don't really know the pros and cons of like building, because there's a reason why they build like log cabins in like very snowy places. So I'm guessing there's like a reason why they're not building in like stone. Probably it's like it's not that they're not that available. Of course, you're not gonna find stones in the middle of like, and I don't know, Scandinavia or like North Dakota. Like, no, it's just very snowy. There's like timber, there's a lot of wood. So of course I'm going to use that. I'm not going to use stone. That it would be, it's like in your dream. Like, that's what I would do. And I would just like transplant, my house from there. But I think one like obvious, I think omission. Well, not omission, but I think like all those houses that are did you assemble? And I can't there's like container houses. I think they're container houses. He didn't mention them, and I was sort of like expecting them. I was expecting him to mention because they're so like I don't know how popular they are, but I think are more common in like they're super tiny. They're like tiny houses, and you sort of like can you do this on your house, and you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna have like I don't know if you can make it like 2 floors, but it's like yes, I buy a container, and this is gonna be the kitchen. Then I like open this, and I open a door. I drill a space here, and there's a door, and there's a living room, and there's like another container, and then I put another one there, and there's just like all different like sizes. It's like Legos. It's like you're sort of like design your own house with the whole like containers, which I find very interesting, and I would have loved to see. I was hoping he would mention it, but apparently maybe they're not that common. Actually, I've never been in one, but I know that. Well, no, I've been in places that have like that are sort of like made out of containers, but I've never been into an actual house. I think I've seen like it's more like a food truck, like restaurants and stuff, but I've never seen them used in like in a residential sort of like area, which I'd be very interested to know if like this is that being like is that a thing actually, or I was just made to believe that that's a thing, but it isn't really. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.